Today we are doing another Barbarian dungeon, and this time it's going to be for the Death Wish aspect. We will gain 250 thorns while berserking. This is for the Barbarian only, and we are not, of course, we're not building a thorns only build, but this will help, and we're gonna do this together. Now, this dungeon is actually all the way up at the top of the map, as you can see where it is right up here. It is a long ways away from Kivashad, which is way down here. So if you are running up there first time, you do have to run this whole thing. But if you are following the main quest, the main campaign, after completing Act 1, Act 2 will take you right up here. So now it's time to get it done. But first, let's go ahead and grab this chest, see what's in there, get all the goodies, and we're gonna come down. Right now, for skills, we are running Leap, we are running Rallying Cry, Iron Skin for when we get really low, and I recently switched to Call of the Ancients. Call of the Ancients has been really good. It's helping us with a lot of survivability. Also, during the filming of this video, I do have a fly flying around that I cannot get, so if you see him, yeah. All right, here we go. Upon entering the dungeon, we do get a quest, free the prisoners, and that is going to be 7. We need to free 7 prisoners in here, and we're gonna go through. Also, one thing to note, I am running a two-handed sword for the slashing, and that is for the expertise technique. If we go ahead and look at our expertise technique, I went ahead and selected the two-handed swords because we do get additional bleed damage. And if you don't know, the way you select the technique is you hit S on your keyboard. This brings up your skill bar, or however you want to do it on the PlayStation 5. Bring up your skill bar, and then what you do is you actually hover over the skill. For me, it's Whirlwind. That is the build that I'm doing, and then you cycle your mouse up and down. You either have to, I believe you have to hold the middle mouse button down, which is the scroll wheel, and then scroll. It is a little bit slower, so keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead, and we got the two-handed sword selected to get ourselves a little bit more bleed damage. And that, of course, that skill is actually coming from the expertise technique. And if you haven't seen that video, check that video out. I made a guide on how to get your expertise technique. That quest becomes available at level 15. That is Barbarian only. But for me, I had to wait a few levels. Check that video out. I will link it at the end of this video if you need some help completing it. I hope that helps. All right, let's go ahead and run through this dungeon here. I do have spin to win. Right now, I'm still struggling with some resource generation. What's this here? Go ahead and talk to this guy, get him out. So we are freeing the prisoners. Right now, I'm still struggling a little bit with resource generation. It's not too bad. We did talent into Leap. Leap does give us more fury. Of course, when we hit an enemy with it, if we hit an enemy with it. And then the shout helps, of course. This guy is like toxic. Speaking of toxic, there it goes. Let's get out of that. And then it's helping us. So every talent we've taken is helping us for the Wind Fury. And then we also got this little bad boy early on, which gives us Dust Devils, which also helps to do a little bit more damage, to generate a little more fury. Let's go ahead and leap since it's available. Get our fury up. And then once the fury starts getting a little bit lower, we can use our lunging strike, and then we can also pop our shout, and that will help us as well. Now, I am still trying to work a little bit, get a little more comfortable with this microphone setup. Hopefully, this is working out well. During the editing of some of my videos, it seems like the sound quality is a lot better. I've had this microphone, but I did not have it set up on this arm, and having it closer to my face is making it a lot more crisp. All right, so 2 down, we got 5 to go. Slow and steady, that's the name of the game. These guys are 2 right next to each other. Let's go ahead and pop our Rallying Cry. There go the Dust Devils. Let's get out of that. I don't want to be in there. And then if we get in trouble, we can, of course, there we go. We got Call of the Ancients as our ultimate. Call of the Ancients is amazing. They don't last very long, but they do a ton of damage, and it helps a lot. There we go. We got 2 more. We got 3 left. This dungeon is fairly simple for me. I am currently around level 29. I have not been progressing through the story too much. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab this destruction. It helps a little bit with more damage. I have not been progressing through the story too fast. I've been going around and collecting some of the things. and enjoying my time with some of my friends, and that's been a lot of fun. So at this point, I am level 29, but you don't have to be. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a couple more while we got the shrine available. The shrines don't last very long, but they do help. Let's go ahead and pop Call of the Ancients. I was running Wrath of the Berserker, but I found Call of the Ancients to be a little bit better because Wrath of the Berserker, my only issue with that was I would run out of fury. In some of my earlier gameplay, I was running Wrath of the Berserker, but I actually found that some of it gets wasted because I still struggle with resource generation. So sometimes when Wrath of the Berserker gets popped and I don't have enough resource, it actually gets a little bit wasted. So by grabbing Call of the Ancients, that's actually a lot better for me. And it works out a lot better because they do a ton of damage. All right, let's go ahead and interact with this guy. Let's go ahead and free him, and we can check our weapon really quick. We do have a single-handed sword. I am looking for a better two-handed sword. What I would like to do at some point when we get a better two-handed sword is actually extract this legendary power and then maybe infuse it onto two-handed legendary sword, and that might work a little bit better, but for right now it's working out okay. We're just going to stick with what we got. We got one guy left. We are plowing through pretty good. This dungeon is not very difficult. I am actually on World Tier 2. I feel like I need to make that distinction as well, just in case anyone's wondering. World Tier 1 is very easy. If you are new to Diablo, feel free to play on World Tier 1. It is a lot easier. This way is locked. We did miss one. All right, let's go ahead and leap, get some fury. I did talent into fury generation on leap. Let's go ahead and free our last prisoner, and that should help us dispel the barrier. Ooh. All right, here we go. Walking through the first barrier. It is getting a little bit hairy here. Do have to be very careful. There's a lot going on. Now, if you are also questing through the main story, you will get the necklace that provides you with this bubble, and that is a vulnerability bubble. That is really, really good. So make sure you do follow the storyline. That is in Act 1. And the necklace is called Vigo's Protecting Amulet. That is what I got. My friend who is playing a Necro also got the same necklace. So that actually is pretty good. I don't know off the top of my head if it is 100% chance to drop or not. I would be curious to see if you've completed the dungeon, if you've helped Vigo, to see if you got the same necklace or not. Leave me a comment down below. As I mentioned before, you should complete Act 1 before you get to this dungeon. Let's go ahead and summon our Ancients. I am struggling with resources, and the Ancients do help a lot. They do a ton of damage. They don't last very long, but that gives us enough time to gain. Oh, here we go. That gives us enough time, right, to gain some more resources, to have some breathing room, to clear out the mobs, and then when we start to get in trouble, we can just, like that, we can just go ahead and pop Iron Skin. That helps a lot. This guy is terrifying. Of course, that doesn't help. Whenever we get feared, it's actually really bad for us. But so far, so good. I am really enjoying the Whirlwind Barbarian. I know lots of people have said the Barbarian is not good to play and they want to play a Necro. Necro is stronger starting out, but I am level 29 currently, and I've got about 3 or 4 hours of gameplay into the game, and that is at a steady, comfortable pace with not a lot of rush. So all in all things considered, it's actually not too bad. Now, since there's a ton of enemies here, let's just go ahead and pop the Ancients. They're available. One guy spins, the other guy slams, and looks like the third guy's got frenzy going on. So they do help a lot. And just like that, everybody's dead. Almost everybody, with the exception for this guy. Now, these mobs do have increased health, so some of them take a little bit longer to kill. But we're spinning to win, and that's where all the fun is. So we just went to town. We sold a couple of things. And it's time to come back. Let's go ahead and interact with that. Grab the sword. Grab the mace. In the early game, gold is not a problem. However, it's still okay to sell stuff once in a while. Let's go ahead and grab this shrine and see what this is. Artillery. Artillery is absolutely amazing. If you have not seen artillery yet, that is what it does. All you need to do is move around. And yeah, that's what it does. It's very, very strong. Very interesting to play. Very powerful. And then, of course, if you can manage to spin the win, I got wrecked because I just stood there, got ran over. The bloating corpse actually runs you over. Artillery helps. However, he still does a lot of damage. So there we go. And he also blew up. So we took a ton of damage on that. I'm glad we had artillery. And that was in the right place at the right time. So since we are taking a little bit of damage, I'm going to go ahead and use Iron Skin. Iron Skin does help quite a bit. A lot of resources again. The only thing that I'm struggling with currently is resource generation. This guy, of course, has shock lance. So that's what the swirlies are on the bottom. So be mindful of that. Keep an eye on that. You definitely don't want to stand in that. He is a little bit tough. Got a bow, which we can't use. The bow is okay. Let's go ahead and pop Call of the Ancients again, since we're a little bit low. Still working on Fury. Call of the Ancients will make quick work of any of these mobs. A little bit of shout. They do not last very long, and right now all we have is one rank of Call of the Ancients. So we don't have a lot of talents pointed into them. We don't have a lot of talents put into them, I should say. But I do have a few talent points into Whirlwind, and I'll show you what's going on there. So right now I am whirlwinding pretty good. I'm really enjoying it. Still struggling for Fury a little bit, but right now, as you can tell, my whirlwind is rank 7 out of 5, and I get 2 points from item contributions. Now, if we open up the character panel, 2 points right there are from my legendary gloves, which I actually got a drop, and I actually was able to gamble them with the obols from the curiosity vendor. Now, the ground stomp and the earthquake I'm not using, so that doesn't help. However, plus 2 ranks of whirlwind does help a lot. And then, of course, combined with the dust devils that it leaves, the legendary mace is very, very early game, very low level. Requirement on that is level 7, so the dust devils don't do much damage, but they still help, and visually I like it. I'm really enjoying it visually, so I keep it around because it does help. Let's go ahead and dispel this barrier. Up we go. So this dungeon is not too bad. Coming up to the last boss, Resurrected Malice. On here, what we're going to do is we're going to pop Call of the Ancients early. If you are at the level where you get Call of the Ancients, this will make quick work of this guy. If you are not, I would suggest you wait till level 29 if possible. If not, bring some friends. Bring some friends right now. Man, this guy does a lot of damage. I got to get out of that. Go ahead and get out of that. One of the challenges with the Barbarian, of course, is being melee. This is actually good. Our necklace popped the barrier, so we are protected for a little while. That allows us to breathe and gain a little bit of fury. I almost died there. Let's leap out of there. This guy is tough. Hopefully Call of the Ancients will come up again. That should help. I tried to dodge that. Really don't want to eat any of those. They do hurt quite a bit. One of the challenges with the Barbarian is we have to face tank everything. We have to be up close and personal. And that is a challenge, right? Because we're melee, so we do end up taking quite a bit more damage than I would like. Let's go ahead and pop Iron Skin. Hopefully this will be enough. Wow. This is not looking good. There's so much damage coming out. I feel like we need some help. Maybe we can do this. I don't have any more potions. There we go. 1 potion. Iron Skin. Leap. Hopefully we can get this guy. Right now we are not doing enough damage. But if we get lucky, maybe we get another potion. These definitely hurt for sure. He is stunned. Iron Skin is a little bit too early, but while he's stunned, you could see with the bar up top there, the blue bar, he is crowd controlled. Let's pop the Ancients. The Ancients should do enough damage, and just like that, there we go. So a little bit of a tougher fight there. Took a lot of damage because of the AoE, but now we unlocked the Death Wish aspect. You can hit Y to view all the aspects under Codex of Power. So that is how you do the dungeon, and that is how you get all of your Codex of Power unlocked. I hope this video was helpful. If you have not completed the Barbarian Expertise Quest for the two-handed sword technique, check that video out. I will leave that at the end of this video.